How's it going, everybody? It's Warren. Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, where we talk all things Marvel and everything relating to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yesterday, a whole bunch of TV spots came out for Spider-Man No Way Home, including a very long trailer type of TV spot, longer than a TV spot, but not quite as long as a full-length trailer, but about a minute trailer came out yesterday as well, that everybody is calling Trailer 3. But with all of these TV spots and this trailer coming out yesterday, there is just a ton of new footage that was revealed that we need to break down, including a lot better looks at some villains and some scenes that offer us even further hints that Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man are indeed going to be in the film, which I think everybody now kind of believes that. And if you don't, no worries, either way we will all see in less than a month now. Also, still doing our Spider-Man collectible giveaway. It ends at the end of this month. All you got to do to enter, subscribe to my channel and Cosmic Culture, and leave some comments on some recent videos. Now, the first clip we're going to talk about is with Tom Holland's Peter Parker and Ned and MJ. Peter is saying that I'll fix this, which we'll briefly talk about. This is sort of all his fault. All of the villains getting out and terrorizing and destroying New York, that's Peter's fault, because Doctor Strange had them all contained. At this point in time, we know from trailers, TV spots, and some plot leaks that this cube that we see in some of these TV spots and trailers is a key to sending all of the villains back. This is how Doctor Strange traps them, and this is how they're going to get them back to their own universes. But in the beginning of the movie, Peter Parker is going to learn that all of these villains die at the hands of their respective Spider-Mans, which of course is Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Doctor Strange says it's the only way, they have to go back, which means they'll probably die. Peter doesn't really feel too good about this, so he ends up taking the cube from Doctor Strange, and then the two of them end up fighting, which we have seen in many TV spots and trailers at this point in time. Peter taking the cube from Doctor Strange and the two of them fighting leads to the villains escaping, which in turn is Peter's fault. So in this scene, that's why he is saying, I'll fix this. But even more interesting is that he goes on to say that he's going to need some help.
I'll fix this, but I'm gonna need some help.
Let's catch some multiverse men.
Now this is referring to one of two things. One, it could be the fact that he is referring to Ned and MJ. We do see them in the sanctum in the next scene, and Ned even says, let's catch some multiverse men. And MJ says, just run it by us next time before you decide to break the universe. So he could be referring to Ned and MJ when he says this, and something that's very interesting about this scene is that Doctor Strange has already done his spell, but Ned and MJ seem to remember that he is Spider-Man. Now, Doctor Strange said that he did botch the spell, so he messed it up, so perhaps not everybody forgot, or perhaps Doctor Strange did something to make them remember. But either way, at least throughout the movie, MJ and Ned are going to remember that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Who knows what will happen at the end of the film, though. So he could be talking about Ned and MJ, but he also could be talking about other Spider-Men. Peter Parker, our Peter Parker, is learning that these other Spider-Men actually killed and defeated these villains before, so now he has to face these villains, and judging by the trailers and TV spots, at first he's going to have a pretty hard time. So it would only make sense that at some point in time he would think to himself, well, maybe the other Spider-Men who have already defeated these villains, maybe we can bring them into our universe and they could help defeat these villains, and everybody goes back to their respective universes. Even if the other two Spider-Men weren't in the film, which they are, but even if they weren't, this still has to be a thought of Peter Parker. These villains come into his universe that he's never met before. They all think that they know him, but then he realizes that they're thinking about the Peter Parker from their universe, their Spider-Man. So he realizes that there are other Spider-Men out there. And even in this little trailer that we got yesterday, we have a scene of Peter Parker saying the multiverse is real, realizing everything. Then we have this awesome new footage of Doc Ock and Spidey fighting, of course, on the infamous bridge. But Doc Ock appears and says, hello Peter, and Peter replies, do I know you? In which he immediately starts to get his butt kicked by Doc Ock. Doc Ock grabs him with his arms, wraps him up, brings him forward and says, you think your fancy new suit is gonna save you. Then after this scene is where he still has Peter Parker grabbed and he gets him without his mask on, and he realizes that he is not the same Peter Parker from his universe and says, you're not Peter. So in this scene, he realizes that not only is this a new Spider-Man suit, but it's a new Spider-Man altogether. Now we've seen some footage from this scene that shows the two of them fighting. Doc Ock is throwing a lot of things at Peter, and it looks like he might even throw a vehicle at him, from maybe a van or a bus as we see Peter break through the roof of it with his iron spider legs. And here we kind of have a funny moment. Doc Ock obviously has his 4 tentacle arms, in which now Peter Parker, in the iron spider suit, now has 4 Spider-Man legs. And Doc Ock makes the joke to his arms saying, "Looks like we got competition." Which is great to see because, of course, it's a Marvel movie. It's going to be funny. Now, this is a more serious movie with the multiverse breaking out and all of the villains coming, but we're gonna have some awesome, funny moments, of course, as well. I mean, it is still Spider-Man. And we get an awesome new look at a couple of villains as well. We get a brand new look at Electro, and he is wearing something that looks oddly familiar. If you take a look at his right shoulder to our left, he is definitely wearing an arc reactor. It is literally identical. It looks just like the triangular arc reactor that Iron Man had in Iron Man 2. And this raises a lot of questions like, how did Electro get this? When did he get this? Because he definitely did not have this at the end of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And the last time that we saw him, he died. Either that or he got transported somewhere else, but I'm gonna go ahead and say he died since that's kind of what Doctor Strange is saying in the TV spots. So does that mean that he got to this universe and somehow got his hands on an arc reactor? That part right now is unclear, but this actually probably answers a very good question that we've all been having about Electro, and that is, why isn't he blue anymore? Not that anyone's complaining because he looks a lot better now, but why the change? Why is he all of a sudden a normal looking person who can shoot electricity with a device on him? Well, the arc reactor would solve that question. It looks like he is using the arc reactor to harness all of the energy that is inside of him, all of the electricity. That could be the reason for the new suit. The arc reactor harnesses all of the electricity and it allows him to release it in concentrated blasts. And it also allows him to not be blue anymore. Because we do actually have one scene where Spider-Man is wearing his black and gold suit. He does have magic around his arms, and in the background we can actually see Electro, and he's still kind of the old Electro. He's still blue. So at some point in time in our universe, he is going to stumble upon this arc reactor. Perhaps he'll even break into Stark Industries. I'm definitely excited to see how this plays out. And this is definitely something that has my attention. I think it's really cool that he's using an arc reactor to do this, but the big question is, how exactly did he get a hold of it? And most importantly, it does still seem like we are going to get at least talk of Iron Man in Spider-Man No Way Home. Which does make sense considering that Far From Home did talk about Iron Man a lot. They had murals of him on the walls, and this takes place immediately after Far From Home, so basically the same time. Now, last but not least, we do get 2 very good looks at Sandman and the Lizard. They're brief, but they're good. One, we have the Lizard just screaming, but it's the best look that we have of him so far. And the new look that we have of Sandman actually shows him catching Spider-Man in his hand. And we get a lot better look of how he's actually going to be when he fights. CGI has come a very long way since Spider-Man 3, and it's awesome to see. And these are the new scenes that the trailer and TV spot have shown us. A lot of new footage, which is awesome because I didn't think we were going to get much more until the end. But let me know what you think about all of this new footage, all of these new TV spots in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video, and of course for live updates you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.